Hello. Hello.
Hey.
Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Sebastian.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Are
can
you
hear you.
still in France?
I don't know for how long.
Are you still in France?
Yeah, still crappy internet connection. It's a new one, it's still crap. So, let's see. I'm coming back tomorrow. Okay, let's check who's here. New names. Sorry for last week, I completely forgot. Because it's at the same time and I didn't even know what the day was, so completely forgot.
I thought you got fired.
Well, I'm checking my emails actually. You never know.
About that.
But that's a good question because I'm sure some people must be asking, am I fired? So let's ask the question, am I fired? So apparently, everyone who should have been fired should have received an email by last Friday. I haven't. Or maybe it's in my spam. I didn't check my spam. But it shouldn't be in my spam. So I'm not fired.
You're still using your Microsoft email address, so I guess while you stack Steve,
Yeah.
you are safe.
But I checked my emails this day. At the end of the day, I checked it. Actually, the day after, because in the morning, the day after. But yeah, I checked. I think the Asia group wasn't affected by the layoffs.
It sounded like mainly Nokia, the Nokia area.
Half of them from Nokia, and half Nokia actually. But still, something like 5,000 in the rest of Microsoft, Redmond and
Even without the Nokia layoffs,
it's still the biggest.
it's more than Microsoft has ever fired in one go.
Didn't I hear they were also laying off a lot of contractors that sit outside of that figure?
Yeah,
So
but that doesn't count.
Yeah, I know that. But yeah, that's pretty amazing.
I think that they made new rules for the contractors, so they can't work more than 18 months, and they have to stop and then come back later. But from what I saw on the net, most layoffs were from the operating system group and testers, mostly. But I've heard some people from Visual Studio, developers, some things like that. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't
QA in
QA always gets hit.
expect a very high quality Windows 9.
I can't hear him. Is it just me?
Bertrand, I think you broke up then.
Oh, that's not just me then. Okay.
No, I was saying you should expect a very high quality Windows 9.
I'm moving to OS X.
Good for you.
No, it was a joke.
Okay, but there might still be some reorgs also. So it's not just about the layoffs, also reorganization and people doing some other stuff, and so they could still move me from Orchard. We'll see. I don't think so, but everything is always possible. So you never know. Okay, what did I miss in the? So what did I miss last week?
Benedict did a demo.
Yeah, but you can watch the video.
Oh,
I haven't.
Yeah, I did a demo about a module we've developed for a website. It's about bodybuilding and fitness.
I'll watch it. I will. I don't know when, but I will. This week I should. So Sean just bought a Surface Pro. I also bought one for my family, and it's very nice. It's very lightweight, it's very powerful. It's awesome. Yep, okay, nothing here. Looking at the chat. Yeah, I'm not sure I will be able to share my screen. I see my network is low. I will try, we'll see. Okay, so let's go back on the usual agenda. I will pull everything because I've seen some stuff happening. We'll talk about it. Pull everything. So, status of code, and because I've done nothing, I will ask people to explain what has been done. I saw also that Zoltan worked on the pull requests, and either he explained that last week, or he will explain it and how it goes. What else? I assume nothing. Okay, we'll check out the bugs. Beer for Zoltan. Well, I assume he just commented on the PRs. That doesn't mean he took all the PRs.
Yeah, I actually only took one very simple change that was for a typo. The other ones, I reviewed all of them. There are some pull requests where we need to discuss whether the validity of the issue, whether we want it this way or something like that. And there are a handful of pull requests where I think it's good to go. There are probably other reviewers who also said that it's good to go, but I still think we should quickly go over them. Probably in a different meeting together with bug triage.
Yeah, I think there are two different good to goes, because it can be technically good to go, like it works, it compiles, the style is valid, and there is also the do we want that good to go? Do we agree with on which branch, on a separate branch for later, or on the 1.x, the 1.8x? So this is another good to go, and sometimes we have to decide, do we want that? Because it might be interesting, it might be good, but if we take all the features of everyone who make everything, it might not be good in the end, or lots of small features everywhere with no consistency. So we have to talk about that too. What I don't like also in some pull requests is that you see pull request and it says almost nothing, and then you look at the code to see what it does, and the title is not explained. Bug open for that. Not even a discussion about the feature. Sometimes it's a bug fix, so that's fine. You just point to the bug fix, so Stan has a lot of that. But some other times it's about new features or things I like to see in Orchard. Someone like to see in Orchard, and there is no discussion about that. Not even a work item or a thread about the feature. So this is, I think there should not be a business good to go, like a feature good to go, not a technical good to go, but a feature good to go, as long as there is no work item attached to that or a discussion about that, because we don't even know what the thing does.
Yeah, I agree. Where I've written good to go, that these were not just technically good to go most of the time, but where there were some issues already opened, or where it was a bug for sure, or something like this. Otherwise, there are a lot of good pull requests where I've written needs feedback. That means please give some feedback, either in writing or somehow else, because I'm not sure whether we want to have this feature. For example, there is a pull request for PostgreSQL support, what is, I think, great, but there was absolutely no discussion before about that.
Yeah, this kind of thing, yeah. So I wasn't talking about what you did, but just the general remark about
yeah, so
how people treat.
Here we had a big backlog of pull requests, but once we've eliminated that backlog, would it be reasonable to bring up some of the pull requests in this meeting so that we can decide where it goes and whether it goes anywhere actually?
Yeah, totally. There are a few pull requests, really do's where I've written the good to go, where we really need to do some very quick verification because they have corresponding bugs, they are technically good, I tested them, everything. And the other ones we have to discuss.
Okay, I just pulled the code and I'm rebasing. I lost some code. Okay. So I see lots of activity on the. So did someone go over all the changes from last week?
Only.
I don't think so. No.
Okay, so I will go quickly on the what happened because I see lots and lots of things, maybe related to some specific branches like audit trail. I will try to share my screen. If I can't, then maybe someone can. Not my face, the desktop. So just tell me if you can see something.
Not yet.
Yeah, I get your message. So I won't share because it's just the guild repository. I will just talk about what I see. I don't want. So I will filter out. I will just look at 18x right now. So 18x. Okay, from not so many things on 1x actually. From 2 days ago, Dale Newman. So I took a PR. Yes, it is a case. Zoltan took a PR. Add missing placeholder packaging error message. And I see it's just translation. Yep, to placeholder translation when you upload package. Okay, a good fix. And I see one from Piotr 3 hours ago. Is that right? Fixing the VS version discovery order. Okay, I'll trust you on this one. Message says VS 2013 should take precedence for 2012 if both are installed. So he fixed the click to build.cmd. Okay, so this is on 18x actually. Oh, now there is maybe more. No, this is it. So now for 1.x. Nothing. So all the work actually was in the. No, there is work. He can see my screen because I'm not sharing. I can share. So I'm just explaining what I'm looking at. Can you hear me at least?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear you. I pasted a link into the chat for what people I think you are looking at. So you're just reading branch 1x now, yeah?
Yeah. But there is no. Do you agree on 1.x for the last 2 weeks?
Pardon?
There is nothing on 1.x for the last 2 weeks.
No, there has been stuff on 1x.
Okay, so maybe. Let me check. Maybe I didn't pull everything then. So I'm pulling again. And 18x, just one from Zoltan? No, I see nothing on 1x.
1x, you have Piotr, and then Sipke, and then me, Lombik.
That's weird, I can't see anything.
Just go
So
to
one.
Coplex.
That's weird because. Okay, I think I know. I need to look at origin. Maybe no, that should be the same. Branches 1x.
Sebastian, have you dropped off?
Sebastian is still learning how to use Git extensions or something.
I think he's still learning to use Git, yeah.
Sebastian?
I was sorry, I don't know why. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Someone muted me. I swear I didn't touch this button.
We'll keep an eye on that.
Okay, so I was on 1.0 and I was saying the last change set was from Piotr. About adding alternates to menu items.
Piotr on 1x was implemented low-level based alternates for menu item and menu item link.
The level, so that first level has a different shape than and I assume there is no work item for that, and I don't see one, but that's fine. I don't see any.
Find any.
It's not.
I just couldn't find any work.
That's
Oh, he's not joined with audio.
Oh yeah.
How do we? That's what it says. How do we get him back with audio?
I think he was simply dropped, so he has to rejoin.
Oh yeah, he looks like he is dropped. See, now he knows what it's like to be in Europe when trying to stream from a Microsoft Link server.
This is seriously crap. all the time.
It's not that bad for us, so.
It's actually alright for me as well. It's probably just France.
Anyone has a good joke in the meanwhile?
Bertrand, then do the demo.
Yeah.
This is just dead air.
Yeah, let me know when you can see my screen. So first I have a question. How many of you have tried to use Boolean fields in a projection?
I think I did.
How did it work out for you?
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure, but I think I've seen something like that. But by
Okay,
your
so
question,
here's-
I mean there's something very wrong with it.
So here is the problem. You want to filter a projection based on a Boolean field, and that Boolean field doesn't yet exist, but you have content items. So what do? You go to content definitions and you add a Boolean field, and then you go to projections and try to query on it, and your projection results are basically empty. Why are they empty? Because your field is not defined on your existing content items. And the projection is actually generating a query that has an inner join.
Sorry, I've seen
On
that with
the-
taxonomy fields, by the way.
What?
I've seen that with taxonomy fields. I think the
Yeah,
same
well,
stuff
I'm
happens.
talking about a Boolean field here.
Yeah, right.
So the problem here is that, so for projection, we create an index table in the database, but that index table is not populated for items that already exist. So you would have to go back to all your content items and publish them so that they have a value that is persisted and that goes into that table, and then you can see it appear in query results. This is not very discoverable, it's plain wrong. So what I did is that I dug into that code and I fixed it. So first now, previously you had radio buttons here in that filter form. Now there are checkboxes so that you can actually select more than one value, including undefined. And for undefined to work properly, so undefined was already there, but it wasn't working. So now it works, and the way I made it work is by simply replacing the inner join by left outer join. So now I can have a query that has a filter on a Boolean, and I can actually get some results from that, even for items that don't have that Boolean persisted anywhere. So that's it. Small thing, but I'd like to push that. It's vaguely breaking as a change because some interfaces in projections have to change to be able to take join type, whereas before it was implying inner join. But yeah, that's it.
And you'll push that to 1x, yeah?
Yeah, I will push that to 1x. I would like to have Sebastian's validation on this because it's a pretty deep change. But yeah.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're very
Yes.
echoey.
From
Yes.
the bottom of your tongue, we can.
I'm in the hallway. This is where I get the network. Crazy. Can you just explain how it works? I missed that.
So you remember that change I made where I was allowing for joins to specify the type of join and
Okay.
additional predicates for the join?
Okay.
So this is pretty much the same thing, but in a different place. So when you join a property, when you add a property to your query, now you can also specify the type of join and predicates. And so what it does here is that it makes that property join left outer join, and it adds the predicate that the name of the property is whatever Boolean field you have there, as a predicate of the join instead of being in the list of where clauses. Does that make sense?
Okay. I look at the goal later.
Yeah, I sent you the code, so you can look at it and.
Okay. So I assume while I was off, you talked about you made a demo.
Yeah, I showed it working. That's it.
Can someone go over the points for 1.x and 1.8x for me? Because I will disconnect, I know, and I have a pretty bad echoed voice.
Yeah. I can take.
Just go over all the change sets and explain what they do and what has changed during the last 2 weeks.
Do you want me to share my screen?
You can also and talk, because I won't talk.
Okay, hold
I
on.
will just interfere.
That's normal. Okay. Let me share my screen. Tell me when you can see my screen.
Benelek is rejoining.
Change sets for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm back,
I'll
thanks.
do that now.
I can see your
Thanks.
screen, Nick.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to go over it on here. For the last 2 weeks? So when would that be? From the 8th, I guess. Okay, so I'll start from the 9th. So Sipke added a nice little admin filter onto 1x. Have people tried that yet? It seems to work quite nicely. It's very similar to. Let me see if I can put it up. I'll kick up Orchard locally if I've got it. So we've got an admin filter. I'll come back to that in a second. Removed orphan file reference. So let's have a look and see what that is from Daniel Stott. Okay, so just a old file reference. Here we go. So this is Sipke's change. So now we have a filter similar to what OneStop have. So you can just filter on whatever, which is kind of nice. Okay, next change is fixing that Orchard workflows timer that didn't have a name in the module manifest. So this is from Lombik from Zoltan. So it's just adding a name to the module manifest. Next change was me, just updating TinyMCE to version 4.1.1. I'm just trying to keep us up to date as much as possible on this. Next one is fixing autofocus. So I think he's just added autofocus on the search box for content types in this part, which is quite nice. So I think that is when you go to that's when you go to content definition. I think it autofocuses. Now it autofocuses in the filter, so you can just start typing. Implementing and applying reusable flavor picker. So what's this do? Sipke, are you around? Sipke here? I guess Sipke's not here. So okay, so this is adding a flavor, so a flavor part. So this allows us to override. What does it allow us to do? It allows us to set a flavor. Oh, it just gives us a drop down. It gives us a drop down for the flavor rather than us having to type it in, which is quite nice. So flavor being HTML or Markdown. Okay. Next is adding case sensitivity to admin filter. So I guess before, when you typed in dashboard or lowercase, this wouldn't come up. So that's applied. More work for admin filters, take into account any submenu items. So if you have a blog, for example, I'm assuming that profiles wouldn't show up previously, and now they do. Interesting. Yeah. So it brings back the parent and the child. It's kind of quite nice. Next is this one, which we'll skirt over because we reverted that one. I implemented and subsequently broke some unit tests on the driver. So I added a check for get group. What was happening is that even if you didn't want a part, if you didn't want a shape to be rendered out, but you did a post and that shape would be, that part would still be updated. So it would do a try update model and hence remove all the parameters on the post. So what you can do is you can stop the shape from being updated now using groups.
So this makes the practice unnecessary where we use the post version of the editor in the driver and check whether the updater argument is null.
I'm not sure, to be honest. What it does is it stops that part from being updated. Well, it stops that driver from post from being called, which is quite nice. I don't know if anyone's seen, but one thing I noticed is that when you if you've got a placement.info, I'll just go to roles, for example. You can actually specify in here, you can do @ and foo bar, and that is also a group. So you can specify your groups in placement, which is quite nice. I didn't know that you could do that. But going back to your question, Zoltan, I'm not sure, to be honest, if that gets rid of the null check.
I think it is because previously we used that technique to prevent all the groups from being updated for site settings all at once.
So so I added it in because when it posts back and you go to update a view model, for example, the view model was just returning true. So the try update was returning true, and then the view model stuff on it was, most of it was empty because there was no defaults, and then you were setting all these values on the part, and everything was just getting wiped out. So I wanted to stop that post from being called, because obviously the get's not getting called because I don't want it to be called. So I'm not sure. You might be right, actually. You might be right. It might be worth having a look at that.
That's cool because then a lot of workaround code can be removed.
Yeah. No, absolutely. The next thing was because this was breaking some tests. It was actually because get group, it can be two states. So this can be either an empty string or null. So I just did a comparison. And then Sipke found out that it can also be case insensitive. So he subsequently fixed that to make it case insensitive, which is good. The next thing is assigning the view to the view context. Let's have a look and see what this does. Hold on, just one sec, guys. Okay, so we have a view result view, so we're just assigning the view back to the view context, okay. So it's just updating more stuff on the context. Orchard.template, so we're updating web configs. So what was this about, guys? Zoltan or Benedict?
So the web configs were in the state as we were using them before 1.8. So the styles and scripts web configs were the old versions, there was a web config in the views folder, and the project root web config was also referencing to MDC3 instead of 5.1.
Okay.
And I removed an empty folder from the project.
And this stuff here, migrations and Razor migrations, what was that part of?
That's just so there were two migration files, and I placed them in a subfolder.
Okay.
But I
Cool.
didn't change the namespaces, so they won't run.
No, that's cool. Okay, so the next change was allowing a user to change the text of a submit button. So if I just jump off to this. So at the moment with a submit form, you couldn't change the text of a submit button without changing the text on all submit buttons because it was like at T. So if I just quickly demo that. So submit this yo. And if I just go back to here, I think that's a widget one because there's two, isn't there? So let's just update the widget one. So if I save this. This widget. Darn it. Side first.
It
Do
was
I need
working.
to publish something?
It was okay. It was working.
Where was it? Oh yeah, submit hi. Of course, it was submit yo before. Right, of course. Should change it to something a little bit different. Yeah, so there we go. That one works. I think there's also another one. Called /test. Let's just check that out. Custom forms. Yep, so we have another one here. Submit nick 2. Hide the Zoltan. Okay, so if I refresh this and go down to the bottom, hide the Zoltan. So we can now do that. Okay. Next is I then updated TinyMCE again, just following their roadmap to 4.1.2, and updated a few other files which I had missed. I updated the MarkDown libraries, which were the JavaScript ones, to the latest. The guys from GitHub and Stack Overflow had pushed some stuff, so I just updated that. I guess I shouldn't have clicked on that because I think it's JavaScript comparison, so let me just load this back up again. Darn. Stop that. Sipke fixed a namespace. Coplex. We just go back to okay, cool. Coplex is being a bit slow. I guess what happens is if you click on a big comparison, then it slows right down. Is there any chat in the window? Yeah, I had originally thought about that as well, Sebastian. So it sounds like a good idea. I mean, we're saving it in the database, so there's no reason why we can't push it out as a shape. What else have we got? Geneva. There was a bug which prevented the flavors at some point. Expand settings. Because we expand settings and type GA for gallery. Oh, I don't have gallery. Oh yeah, there's a bit of a bug there. Okay. We'll have to fix that one. What else? Because we have it for fields, for instance, Is there anything else on here? Okay, so let's come back. So you just fixed the namespace for pages. I think it was previously called dashboard. And the last one is implemented by Piera, which is implemented level-based alternates, which is what we spoke about earlier. That's the end of the changes. The only last change which I've been looking at upgrading is AutoFac, which you guys might be aware. We've had some problems upgrading recently, and I found the change set, which is breaking us. So I've written a bug on their thing. So if anyone wants to take a crack at it, I know we can revert that change. We can revert the change set, and all the tests go green for Orchard. I just don't know what the impact is on AutoFac. So yeah, but that's it for the last 2 weeks. Anyone else got anything? Can you hear me, Benedict? Okay. Okay, cool. So, Sebastian? Oh, hold on. Sebastian's on mute. Sebastian, I've unmuted you.
Hello?
Yeah, I've just unmuted you. You were on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now, yeah. You were on mute.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't know what's happening, but I unmuted myself and I was talking and I saw in the list of participants I was muted. I'm still muted in my list. So, okay. I
can hear you now. So that was the stuff for the last 2 weeks, plus obviously the AutoFac stuff. So what's your take?
I was seeing one screen every minute. That was interesting. Good. Just a question for Daniel and Sipke, if there is any update on audit trail and layouts. And maybe I also missed some other new.
Yeah, so the audit trail module, it's essentially done. We're just doing some cleanup. I think there's one little task to be done. It's just polishing, but essentially it's done. We're gonna we didn't have a meeting today, but it's gonna be done somewhere this week.
Okay, and I see.
We want to. Do you think? Well, when do you think it would be a good idea to merge back into 1x?
If it works and it's done, and
okay.
I've seen some emails, internal emails, that you are just testing it now, so you can merge. Because it's not blocking, it's done. It works, so that's fine.
Yeah.
We could ship, so that's fine.
Okay.
Well, as long as you think we could ship.
Yeah, of course. Okay, got it.
And
okay, so that will
layout,
be this week.
Layouts.
I haven't done much this week. I've been working more on audit trail and the project MarkDown. So that's what I'm currently working on. I'm doing some benchmarking. So I did some measurements about the performance, completion performance, startup. I recorded those measurements, and I'm merging the projects into a single one so that we can compare. So that's what I'm currently working on.
Do you have some early results?
No, it's actually quite tedious to merge because I can't just merge all the projects because there's a specific core extension loader. There's all sorts of conventions that need to, and there's stuff we need to talk about when we're actually going to implement it. But right now, I just want to move as fast as I can so we can see if it's worth the.
I hardly think it should be a 1.x effort right now.
Can you repeat that question?
I think it should not be part of Wonder.x right now if we want to ship.
I think so too, because if we want to do it right and in a clean way, it's gonna also be a breaking change. It's not gonna be a horrible breaking change, but it has some impact.
Can I suggest that maybe this is part of what we should be doing when we do VNext? I mean, I've been reading the list of what's been going on. I just haven't chimed in yet. It feels like this kind of thing is like a VNext kind of, thing.
It could be. I don't think it has to be. It's just reorganizing the modules. Right now, modules are tied to their unit of compilation, being the project. But it could just as well, like Orchard.core, can just be a single project which contains multiple modules. It's what is going to change depending on how we're going to do it. If we're going to move it all to Orchard.core, then we'll have to change some namespaces. If we're going to use a different module, for example, Orchard.foundation, I'm not saying that's a good idea, but just for argument's sake, then we don't have to change namespaces, which means we won't break migrations. So that means we don't have to change schema names, and that could work without too many breaking changes. So it depends on how we're actually going to implement it. But before we dive into that, I think it would be worthwhile to see the performance benefits.
Yep, because that's the goal.
Yeah.
Another question now for Nick OWIN.
Oh, of course, yes. Let me just go on to that feature branch. So I spoke a little bit about OWIN last week, and I got it working. I think the main thing that was missing really was a reference, but from the CS proj file. But I updated the OWIN libraries, the OWIN tests, so they should all work as well. Let me ditch the manifest file, get down to the main stuff. So we had to ignore a few things in the tests, but we needed to do that anyway. This is where it wasn't compiling before, Sebastian. I mentioned it wasn't compiling. This is why. You just had return new. Yeah, I think you missed the part of the test, which is fine. And I fixed the rest of the tests in order to get those working. And then this is the part which was missing in the web file itself. This DLL here has to sit in your bin directory of the host project. So in this instance, it was orchard.web, and it wasn't existing in the bin folder, so it just needed to be referenced. So yeah, that's pretty cool. When kicking this branch up, a lot of people are probably going to complain and say, "Oh man, I can't even kick Orchard up anymore." But that's because when adding OWIN in, you really need to clear all your cache files and your temporary internet ASP files, all that jazz. It's got to be clean.
The first time, you mean?
Pardon? First time, yeah. So get rid of all your cache, all your temporary ASP internet files, and then you can kick it up. Maybe I'll do a bit of a bigger blog post. I did a small blog post on that last week. Maybe I'll do a bit of a bigger one. But the one I found was that when you do a clean and you rebuild and you kick it up, well, that might kick up fine using IIS Express, so that's cool. However, if you go through IIS, a lot of people forget about your temporary ASP.NET files, so clear those as well, or else you just end up wasting a lot of time trying to work out what was wrong. But yeah, I mean, it works. It kicks up, which is cool. Yeah. I haven't taken too much advantage of it yet, but I got it working so that I could get my some of my modules working. So, yeah.
Okay, thanks. So no other branches. I had some questions. We blocked on some other stuff, like I wasn't here last week, and I haven't worked on that either. Shown the website, still the same state, I would assume.
Pushed another navigation related fix. Okay.
Okay, so yes, same state. I swear I will be able to work on it this week or before next meeting.
What will you be able to work on?
I was talking to Sean the website. And other matters. And the other thing was the website. Just a question, maybe you talked about it last week. Do we have videos for the conference or news for the videos? I wasn't here and I didn't watch the meeting, so I don't know.
Elon?
It's a short meeting.
No, I've been a bad boy.
And I don't even know what the state is or who is in charge of what. And you're okay. Oh, how are you doing, Ilan? Sorry, I haven't talked to you since last.
I know. I've been kind of waiting for you to get back, but it's my fault. I've been it's been a crazy 2 weeks with the newborn and 3 young kids and life. So my apologies to the entire community. And now that it's been recorded by Benedict, to whomever is listening, my apologies.
And his middle name is Orchard?
Yes.
Obviously.
Why wouldn't it be? Really?
Well, you know, maybe Bertrand knows that, but when Windows Vista was released, someone named his kid Vista because of that. I swear. And he made a blog post about it.
Well, does that mean it gets an upgrade?
Crazy, but I swear it was like an MVP or something like that. And people say you're crazy, and the answer that, well, in 10 years nobody will remember Vista, so that's fine. So they're crazy, yeah. And I think people still remember Vista. So, okay. What else? Maybe we'll keep it short also this week because I have a pretty bad connection. I can't share anything. Any other demo that someone wants to talk about?
I would like to talk about localization just a little bit.
Sure.
Okay, so...
You want to share your screen?
No, I don't need to share screen. So it's just about some discussion going on the forums. So one of the users, I think his username is Manudea. I'm not sure who that is. I don't know his name, so sorry about that. But it was mentioned that the gallery module should be moved to a different Crowdin project because some of them are outdated. You don't necessarily need them, or you don't necessarily want to translate them. So they should be separated in some way. For example, because your language shows that it's 90% translated because of those modules, but in the meanwhile you have 100% translation for the Orchard source, but you have untranslated gallery modules. So it was suggested that those modules should be moved to a separate Crowdin project. Unfortunately, it's not possible to have, for example, a sub-project, as much as I can tell, on Crowdin, but it's possible to have another project. I think I can talk about the support team so that they give us another project for Crowdin project for free. I'm sure they will do that. Yeah, what do you think? So I think it would make this kind of maintenance easier, but in the meanwhile, it would require basically double work in terms of administration. So users assigning those users to languages and stuff like that. What do you think?
I mean, having them all on the same Crowdin project really allows users just to go in and smash through the translations without having to change between Crowdin projects, really. Yeah. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have dead weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So the gallery modules are really outdated. I mean the translations. I updated the combinator recently, and it's translated to a few languages now, but yeah, all the other gallery modules are outdated. I can update them, for example, but if we don't need them or we don't want to translate them, then it's not necessary.
Maybe another solution could be to have another repository just for modules. One repository for Orchard core and one for modules. And people will ship it with their modules, so they can use it for collaboration, but they will ship the translation with their modules.
I'm not sure what you mean. By Orchard core, you mean the actual Orchard core or all the modules that are in the Orchard distribution?
Yes, Orchard distribution, one repository, and we manage that.
Yeah.
And we can create one for gallery modules if they want to. If they want a tool for translation.
Yeah. That's exactly what this is about.
Then yeah, my suggestion.
Yeah. Actually, what I did now, like 2 weeks ago, is that when you download the package, so all the translations or just one translation package, there's a folder structure for, and the current Orchard distribution is separated into the source subfolder. The deprecated modules are separated into the deprecated subfolder, and the gallery modules and the gallery subfolders. So, for example, if you want to apply the translations to 1.8 Orchard source, it's very easy because all you have to do is just copy over the things modules core and app data folder from the source subfolder. So those modules that are from the gallery or that aren't in the Orchard source anymore won't be there if you don't want.
Good. Are you done with the translation? I mean the topic today.
Sorry, what did you say?
This is all you wanted to talk about for translation?
Yeah, so basically the question is so it would require more administration from my end, because currently I am in charge of that. But yeah, it would clean up a little bit because the gallery modules would be separated to a different Crowdin project. So
yeah, and maybe you should not have to handle that too, because that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, because all the translations we have now should be removed from the current project and then uploaded again to the new one.
Well, I would prefer this solution, but there is work to do. So
yeah, I think I can.
And also, after
that.
you have to manage all the authorizations, every request to change anything, and.
Yeah, basically it would mean that, for example, if someone wants to add a new language, because when we moved to Crowdin, we had 40 or 41 languages. We have 5 or 6 additional ones now. But yeah, if someone wants to add a new language to the available translations, it would have to be added to both projects. If someone wants to translate, so there's a new translator who would like to join the project, then he or she would have to be added to both of those. Yeah. So that's the downside.
Do you need a vote? Do you want us to vote on the solution?
I'm not sure. Well, it's kind of up to you too. So if you think it's better to separate them, I think I can do that in a few weeks. It could take like an afternoon or something like that. So I can do that sometime later.
Personally, I prefer to have 2 different Crowdin projects, Orchard and the gallery. That's it.
I see.
Maybe ideally it will be better to have Orchard and every module a different project, because yeah. But then that might be very hard to manage.
Actually, now that you mention, after the project MarkDown, it's going to be pretty tough to get the translations right, I think. Or is it just that the PO files have to be just merged? I'm not sure. Bertrand, you may know more about this.
No,
if namespaces change or passes of CSS HTML files change, then these should be adapted as well.
Exactly, yeah. So the keys are the key to this problem.
By the way, you couldn't hear me before, but aren't gallery projects or gallery modules and deprecated modules already separated? They are in some different folders, or I don't know.
Yeah,
but they are separated in Crowdin.
That's right. That's what I was mentioning. So the current distribution is separated. The deprecated modules are separated, and the gallery modules are separated to subfolders.
So what would be the advantage, or what is the disadvantage of this current setup?
Well, the disadvantage is the current setup is what someone mentioned on the forum, is that if you don't want to translate an outdated gallery module, then it's okay, but your language won't reach 100% translations according to the statistics of Crowdin, because you have an untranslated module. If we move the gallery modules to a different Crowdin project, then they won't interfere with the translations of the core distribution.
Okay, well, I would say probably who cares. Besides that, you have to constantly update these projects because, well, and again with gallery projects, there can be a lot of gallery projects that you don't want to translate for some reason because, for example, they are already deprecated or abandoned. Then there will be this constant struggle what to keep inside.
Right.
So
I think there's a
really
translation for the O-forms module. I'm not sure. That's basically deprecated because of custom forms. And that's just an example. So Sebastian is supporting the separation of projects.
I unmuted him.
Yeah, the more separate it is, the more happy I am. So I don't care.
Okay.
I prefer everything to be separate from Orchard, so everyone manages his own project, his own translation. We can help in explaining how to do that, but that's it. Same thing for documentation. Today we don't have a documentation story for every module on the gallery. Do we want to do that? So I'm not sure we need to handle that at all.
Yeah.
At least providing a link to the translation for documentation, we could provide a link. Click here to go to translation for this module. Click here to go to documentation for this module, wherever it is.
Yeah, but if you do it like this, then the work of a translator would be tedious because you would have to go to every project author separately, ask for permission, if there would be any tooling for translations.
Okay, then one Crowdin for the gallery projects, and done.
Yeah.
And we could do the same thing for documentation if they want. I don't know.
Yeah, so what I meant is that all the gallery
documentation
modules
is
are
not
in one Crowdin project.
Yeah, we could do that. That would work.
That would be better, I think, yeah.
So talk about it in the forum and look at the feedback, and if no one cares, then go with the solution you think is best, like this one.
All right. Okay.
Okay, done then. Thanks everyone for joining. Okay. Sorry for the low quality of the meeting.
Sorry, can we have a different meeting for bug triage and pull request triage? Maybe not with everybody, of course, but with just the developers who care. Because we are really behind with bugs and really behind with pull requests.
Should you wait for me to come back then?
You're back tomorrow, right? Or the day after?
What's the day today? Yes, I'm back on Wednesday afternoon. Whatever. Yes, Wednesday afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon for you.
Do something Thursday or Friday.
Friday.
Maybe early next week, Sebastian. So you
Something like this. Yeah, not the first day because I will have so many things to do.
Sure.
Yes.
Zoltan, do you want to set something up for next week?
Sorry?
Do you want to set something up for next week? Or maybe we can do triage. Oh, no, we should have Sebastian to do triage. So maybe set something up for next week.
Yeah, next week is still fine, I think.
Could be Monday evening.
I don't know.
I mean,
Monday
noon for Sebastian.
Maybe a good solution will be to have like this, the same thing like we have today. On Tuesdays, we could have another day for triaging and pull request, and it could be short if we catch up with all the past things we have to do in the end. But we could also, yeah, like I said, take half an hour every week to do that in a different meeting.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And yeah.
Okay, so how about Thursday next week, and let's arrange it via email or forum, but just as an idea.
Yeah, maybe ping it on the forum, and then we can send out an invite or something.
Yep, and when we decide when it is, we can do a scheduled meeting for that, the same as we have for Tuesdays.
All right.
And agree on some time. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Talk to you
Bye
next
bye.
week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.